This meeting of the Fairfield Public Library Board of Trustees is called to order of January 8th, 2023 at 7:07 p.m. To begin, we actually have an item that needs to be, or actually, before we asked, with regards to the agenda, does anybody have any items that need to be added to the agenda? I do have an item to
add distribution to that, or the, this 20,000 is not on the agenda now.
It is not on the agenda.
It's not the center, right?
We could put it on there. But yeah, sure. Want to make a motion to add that to the agenda?
Sure, I would make a motion to add the donation from an estate of $22,250 that we just received today to the agenda.
There a second? All in favor of adding that item to new business? Right. To new business. I also have an item to add to new business. I move that we discuss the voting on the Trek registry to the agenda. There's a second. All in favor? It passes with 3 to 2 abstentions. So when we get to that, we'll talk a little bit more as to what we'll be voting on, what we will be voting on at that point. This is something that we added to our agenda moving forward. All right. There appears to be no public comment either here in the room or on the WebEx. So at this point, please take a moment to review the minutes from our December meeting and let us know if there's any changes that need to be made.
Should Chris Timniak be listed as unexcused if he was not
He's no on.
yeah, so shouldn't it be not,
That's
he was not the treasurer at the time?
is
He would be the, what was the date of the meeting?
December or
December 4th, before the.
When was the selectman sworn in? Yes, I don't think he tried to remove him from the minutes.
I mean, he's not going to be broken up either way. The only thing, I do not recall who made the motions back half of the meeting.
I couldn't hear, I kept getting kicked out last month because I was,
No, it's okay, Lauren. It's, I'm just wondering,
I just felt lines hoping that someone.
yeah. I feel like Chris made a motion about the privacy and confidentiality. Mr. Rogers.
Say that I made.
I think you made the motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure. So I'll add the names to the motions. Is there any other feedback on the minutes? Any other amendments? Chris, anything from you?
Nah, no changes on my side. Roll looks good.
All right. Somebody like to make a motion to approve?
I would make a motion to approve the minutes for December 4th.
Second?
I can second that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Need a vote, Chris. All right. So moved. All right. So that is the approved, minutes have been approved. On to the chairman's report. So hopefully everyone had a wonderful holiday. Welcome back. Happy New Year. Was it 24? Anybody know
Yeah.
what year it actually is? No, it's excited to kick off the new year. Just before the new year, Scott and I met with the selectmen, talking budgets. Jan and Scott, and well, they were talking budgets. I was invited. It was really productive, and I think it's one of the things we'll continue to, as a board, continue to be vocal advocates for the work that we do and what the Friends do to improve the offerings of the library. But I do want to reiterate to everyone here and clarify our mission that it is not to supplement the operational costs of the library. Question was asked, we had a discussion about it with regards to, some computer software. But I do want to note that it's something that, we are supportive of the library in many, many ways. But one of them is not supporting them from an offsetting off of operational costs. So no, I thought it was a very productive meeting. Jan, Scott, absolutely setting the right tone with the new selectmen. So I appreciate your guys' work with that, and yeah, really excited for the coming year, coming 4 years? 4 years? Yeah, we got 4 years with the new selectmen. So no, starting off on the right foot, very, very much so. So thank you guys. All right, with that, I will actually, so that our selectman has something to read about if he actually goes into our packets, our library updates.
So programming at the library in December for adults included a lunchtime health series, lectures on I can't believe I can't pronounce his name, Sondheim, crafting, and discussions about previous year's reads. Teens did readers theater, mystery programs, karaoke, DIY gifting, and crafting. And then children, outside of our early literacy programs, which are always packed, children built gingerbread houses, sang, and danced. Book displays were holiday and food themed, as they should be in December. Incidents and facility issues were low. However, we did have a lot of staff call in sick. Staff managers did a really great job of keeping the boat afloat. It was rough. We had a lot of single people, one person on a desk. It was a rough month when it came to call outs. Patrons broke a record by streaming 5,561 songs in November and then 5,040 songs in December. That's using Freegoal, which is the platform which continues to grow. And then I was invited to the Fairfield Arts Commission meeting where I provided information on the library, the gallery, but focused on one book, one town. It seems like a good group. They definitely want to work with the library, so I'm excited to do more with them, and they were interested in the gallery walls for sure. And that's it. Andrew, if it's okay, I'll just jump to the budget
Perfect.
report. So, as our president said, on December 27th, we met with the first selectman to discuss the upcoming 2025 budget. Building on the prior board meetings discussion, the library proposed a moderate increases in several budget lines like collection development and programming, mostly to keep up with just the cost of, just the cost of living, just the cost of operating. We did tie them to metrics, and metrics where we've increased. And we also advocated for, our key request was adding a full-time staff member dedicated to the Fairfield Woods branch, focusing on the teens or teen services. For the first time, we haven't gotten no right away, so that's fairly positive. They've asked for us to come back with a few numbers. So the meeting served as a really productive start to this is just the start of probably like, quarter mile dash. But it was really a positive meeting. I mean, it was about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I mean, they really asked great questions. And, what's interesting is the first selectman is a library user. His family are all library users. He shared with us some great stories, but his chief of staff is a library user and a big time library user. She's actually brought it up in a couple meetings. So as I was saying to one of my counterparts in another department head, it's very nice not to have to start. I always feel like when there's a new select person, you've lost about 6 months. You have to do that 6 months of kind of informing them about what a library does, why it's important to the community. It was really nice to have them there already and them to ask really nuanced questions about operations and have a better the questions were done in such a way where they really truly understood how libraries operate. And probably the best part of the entire meeting was the budget director for the town, who is a jewel. He is a library user. He's also from New York. So sometimes when we reference some of the stuff that New York libraries do, he was great to he kind of gave color commentary, talked about how he uses the 3D printer in one of his libraries, for some gaming stuff. So it was really great to have him in the conversation because we had positive conversations about traditional library usage and also library things, as well as makerspace.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you, Scott. We did have another calling user 1.
I think that's Peter.
Peter, is that you?
Yeah, it is me, and I'm trying to still get in on WebEx.
Gotcha. No worries. Thank you for calling in, Peter. Just
Okay.
all right. I'm trying to figure out who our mystery caller is. All right. Well, perfect timing because anything else with regards to the library updates? Jan.
Jan, do you want to talk about what's happening in the future?
What do you mean?
Usually talk about
We're still on library?
Looking ahead.
Looking ahead.
Oh,
Yeah, we talked.
short thing? Oh, I usually got on that. Yeah, so we have lots of new programs going on in January, plus some of the older regular things coming back. Have a art program on Picasso, which will be held in this room, but it's also available by Zoom. It's hybrid. We've done that before with this artist. He's in New Jersey, and he shows the slide either on the big screen or on your screen at home, and it works very well. We have programs with Sustainable Fairfield again, and a couple of virtual programs on tea, politics of tea. Teen Room is doing the study break for midterm exams again. And Children's has started the kickoff of the winter reading challenge. We have summer and we also have winter reading challenge. It's a little bit not as extreme as summer, but it's been very popular. It's reading. That goes from January 2nd to February 17th.
And just a reminder that Thursday is our One Book, One Town announcement. And also that evening, many of you, hopefully you read the email that I sent out Sunday. We will have a last minute author visit from Chad Sell. He will be here in this room, and it's almost full. That filled up really quick. It's originally supposed to be a school visit at 3 of the elementary schools. I spoke with the superintendent today. There are some logistical issues. Some parental concerns were expressed at the school district, so understandably, the superintendent wanted more information about the author. That didn't quite work with the turnaround time, so the author decided that they wanted to come to the public library instead. We have right now over 100 kids registered for this program. Sorry, we put this like up a day and a half ago. That's pretty impressive. Some of his characters do, there is 1 or 2 characters, I believe, and there is some storylines around LGBTQ plus kids. So that is the reason why I guess there was some pushback at the school district level. So we are very, very happy to host it here. And that'll be both a talk from the author and a signing. Like I said, I spoke with the superintendent. He understands what we're doing and why we're doing it. I spoke with the first selectman, was very, very, very excited that we were doing this. And the first selectman's office, we've worked out some things and some logistics. We will have some extra presence in the building just in case, because we do know from our own previous experience, sometimes people, when they're unhappy about such matters, they will show up and voice that. So I will be in the building officially as my duty as the library security guard. And hopefully nothing will happen, but we will at least be prepared. And we're coming up with just some talking points in case. We've also heard that the media may have been contacted, but we'll have talking points.
But what is the offer? He was supposed to come to my kid's school.
Yeah, so
They
it's,
just sent they never said why, right? They just never, well, they never addressed it. They said author, it was on Friday. It was very brief, but they said Friday, oh, last minute, we have an author visit next week. I think it's supposed to be tomorrow or Wednesday, but never followed back up and said, this was candidate. It was kind of a sense.
Yeah.
I didn't reach out and question it, but.
Well, I mean, this provides an opportunity for people to register and opt in. So if you have a problem with it, you don't opt in. You stay home then.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it should be
And it opens
acceptable.
that up to more kids.
Right,
rather
it should
than
be,
preschools
it
that
should be
have 11,
acceptable
right?
to everybody on both
Town.
sides. Someone who wants to hear what he has to say, and if you don't, you just stay home.
yes, we would hope that everybody views it that way.
So.
Yes, indeed.
Peter's raising his hand.
Yes, Peter. Oh, you're muted. You're muted, Peter.
Okay, try that.
You're there.
You're good.
Okay, good. Tell you technology. Scott, what's the issue? I don't understand the issue with the author or his books.
And some characters may be representative of kids who are, LGBTQ plus. So he may have a gay character or two.
Oh. That's
Yes.
the issue.
Yep.
Okay. And the school superintendent was concerned about that.
No, School superintendent listened to concerns of parents. He wanted some time to do his due diligence and research, the books and the topics that were going to be presented. And therefore, wanted to, from what he told me, he wanted to postpone, but they wanted to do it quicker, so they decided to switch venues.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You're welcome, Peter.
All right. Anything else with the library updates?
I think we got everything. Got everything?
There's not the winter read challenge is for all ages, not just kids.
I'm trying to say.
I'm just trying to say, like, especially, and we're starting the adult challenge again too for 2024.
Oh, awesome.
So if there are people who want to get their feet wet and just start with the winter read, you can double dip. So if you know, read the January genre, I'll do so for the winter read.
And if
Fantastic.
you don't know, the genre club's a really cool idea, which gets people to read outside of their genre. I won't do it. But it gets people to read outside of their genre, which is kind of cool.
I got a lot of great comments at the end of the year from people that completed it and came in for their prize. And we're just like so happy to have had the opportunity to read different things that
Yeah.
we wouldn't have read. So.
And that's still running through BeatStack? Think of all the kids' different login things. Gonna lose track sometimes. All right. So now we'll move into the committee and liaison reports. First up is the fundraising committee. Peter, you're on mute.
Scott and I and I'm sorry, Scott,
Donna,
Donna. We have a meeting on January 11th. What time, Scott?
10.
10 o'clock. And we're going to be going over the Foundation Center and see if we can pull out some family foundations that we would then approach to see if they would entertain proposals from us in terms of some projects for the library. And we have a 1-month subscription, if I'm correct, Scott.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yes.
And we'll see what we can pull out and bring back for our February meeting to share with the committee.
Fantastic. Great update.
Anything else, Scott, you wanted to add into the mix?
No, I think that's good.
Great. Looking forward to hearing more about that next month.
Right.
All right, next, the ad hoc building committee, no updates. I think one of the things, I was speaking with Chris earlier today. The aim is to have a more, let's say, meaningful connect in advance of our not next meeting, but the meeting in March, which will be at Fairfield Woods. That's right, Nancy, right? All right, good. I think it'll be impactful for us to have a good conversation about that meeting while we're on site at Fairfield Woods, so we can really talk a little bit more and then potentially even see some things as it relates. So that is all I would say with regards to the ad hoc. Donna, I'll turn it over for you for friends.
So we had, the gallery changed over just before the end of the year, and the gallery opening was last Thursday, and it was massive.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
it
one of
was
the
really
bigger
massive.
openings.
It's really good. So the gallery is really bringing lots of people in every time we do it. The next show will be a community show, and they did solicit entrance to that show, I guess, through end of November into December. So that's going really well. One of the things that we're trying to do with the gallery to increase sales is because we're a 501c3, we're allowed to have 4 tax-free days where we can sell things and not have to have sales tax. So we're trying to decide on which days we might want to do that. Do we do it on the community show where there's a lot of smaller things, so the 6% doesn't get anything, or do you balance it out where we might have some large ticket items?
Yeah.
So we'll be doing probably 2 events, 2 at the gallery this year. We do use the tax-free day ourselves when we do the literary luncheon, because gives us a benefit when we do things with the country club.
Yep.
But that's one of the things we're going to try to do to increase some of the sales of
Okay,
the
great.
gallery. So I think that'll be fun to try, and I do think the community one might be a great one to do it. The next thing that we have coming up is on April 7th, which is a Sunday, is mini golf. So the mini golf's been locked down. That's going to be here in the library. We'll start working on that and getting a whole committee together to get that thing taken care of. We did kick around the idea of doing a evening event the night before for adults. But we have a little conflict with we had a long time for the guys who run the program to get back to us, whether or not they were free. So we're
Yeah.
gonna table that for this year, but we thought that would be a kind of a fun thing to do, like a 9-hole adult golf and
Yeah.
have like a cocktails and hors d'oeuvre kind of a thing, do a combination, get different people in the library and then come back the next morning for kids. So TBD, we might try it for next year, but for this year, we're gonna stick with just doing it for the kids. The other thing we've kicked around, and we're gonna try to get this going, is several years ago, there was a book called Water for Elephants. If anyone remembers it, it was a movie with Robert Pattinson and Reese Witherspoon. It's now on Broadway. It's turned into a musical. So we are trying to come up with a book club, so we can get one of the librarians involved to do a book club. So we'll read the book, see the movie, because the movie's out, and then go into the theater. And we're trying to work with the theater to maybe do a Q&A with the producer or do something with the assessor. So that'll be kind of a fundraiser, something unique. We're still trying to figure out logistics. We're trying to reach out to the author, having a really hard time finding her. She's not particularly responsive, but I think we can do it without her, and try to sort of backtrack and see if there's any way to get in touch with the people who are doing the actual play themselves.
Yeah.
So something different. But it takes advantage of our proximity to the city and the fact that books and, movies and plays start from books. So let's tie them all together and have this interesting conversation on the genesis of a book to a movie to a play. Where does it hold together? Where does it fall apart? How does that transaction take place? So that's TBD. So sometime this spring, it might be out there. If you're interested in joining us, that would be great. And that's kind of all we have for now. Our next meeting is scheduled for next week, and we're looking forward to kicking off the year.
Fantastic. Yay about mini golf.
Yeah.
Kids actually have asked me about that.
Now you have the answer.
Now I have the answer. All right. No, that's fantastic. I love that idea with the water for elephants and, the adult the night before.
The night before.
Yeah, it's a nice, that could be something that could
You
generate.
want to do gala, but want to make it informal.
Yeah.
So the thought is some kind of an informal thing that is an activity to get people in and around the library in case they've not done that.
Yeah.
But then provides that social connection as well.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the best things about mini golf is the way that it takes us through basically every single part.
Mhm.
You know, remove the children's area.
Yeah.
I think anybody who will be coming here for their children has been to
They
the
know
children's
that.
area. So going in through the stacks and
Yeah.
various areas, and that would be, I think that would be a great addition, and hopefully we can do that next year.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for.
Fantastic. Oh, that's great to hear. All right, and then,
Question, Andy?
go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, just a quick question. If you can get the Broadway show,
Yeah.
do we plan to pay for the tickets?
So we would, we want to use it as a fundraiser. So we would buy the tickets, but people would pay for them. We will not do any transportation. We're close enough. People know how to do the train.
Yeah.
We'll do a book club. So we'll have a couple of discussions with the book. We may see the movie somewhere here, or maybe see if we can get it across the street at the theater, and then go to the play, probably a matinee. And then, we'll sort of put a package together that covers our costs, for the tickets, and we'll try to make some money off of it, because I think it's a good.
Are you familiar with the Theater Development Fund?
No.
Okay. Theater Development Fund, which is a nonprofit, provides reduced price tickets, usually no more than $52, to people to nonprofits and to individuals who are working in the public sector, like Scott or Nancy or Jan, who are working in the public sector, or who are over the age of 65. And their website is tdf.org.
Okay.
And that might be a good group to get in contact with, so that you could get a block of as you move forward, you could be able to get a block for the reduced price, which you then would be able to auction off. And again, the other side of it is that if, Scott or Jan want to go to a Broadway show, they just go into their website. It costs $36 a year to join, and they can go and see anything they want to. We went last week just to see Moulin Rouge because I'm above the age of 65. Not much, but a little bit above the age of 65.
Well, that's great. We'll take a look at that.
Yeah, you should take a look at that.
Yeah.
Increase our profitability.
Here we go.
Great. Thank you, Peter.
You're welcome.
I do love that idea though, the performance is being turned into a Broadway show.
Everything is, right? But it'll be fun. It should be fun.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. All right, so next item, Scott, do we need to talk anything about website redesign at this point?
I mean, no, because we've got it as an
We
agenda
have
item.
it as an agenda item.
Mary was supposed to be here tonight to present, but she was one of our 6 staff, so. She's back to work today, but I did not want to make her work.
That is understandable. All right, so then we will move on to the treasurer's report. Erin.
Yes, overall, good year, the market was up, our funds are up. We ended the year around just under shy of 9 million compared to 7.9 at the end of 2022, so a good year for the endowments. Getting back up there for what was lost during 22. And then I just made some notes on what the big payments that went out this year, so we had the withdrawal for the last pay down on the debt service. We had the withdrawal for the board funded funding that was approved a few years ago, so we're kind of back.
Yep.
I should say catching up, that we made a payment of $108,000 roughly, and then we had the check for the furniture that went out the door, out of those funds. So just wanted to note some of the larger activity from these funds. The second piece I want to talk about is I need to sign a DocuSign that keeps coming to me from the Vanguard team. So the Vanguard servicing team that we work with is being acquired by Mercer. The funds are still going to be held by Vanguard. It's purely the servicing team. So they're asking for signature so that they, as Mercer employees, will have access to our information. I don't see any issues with it. Fees stay the same. Everything will be status quo, except the servicing team now falls under Mercer.
We'll just say.
There's still the assets of custody at Vanguard. It's really the servicing team. It's the sector, it's their institutional sector that has the nonprofit arm. It's part of what's being acquired. So if anyone has any issues, certainly we can talk about it. They prefer signature by the end of the month, sooner the better, They're in for more.
Hey, Aaron?
Yep.
Hey, sorry. So Mercer's acquiring it. Like, how does that change specifically? Does their fee structure change at all, or?
No, sorry, you couldn't hear me. No, there are no changes. I was told there's no changes. Portfolio, fees, level of service, everything stays the same as it is today.
See if you can get them to do that, put that in writing.
I can forward that all to you guys.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Just so we all, and then,
Yeah.
And then we can make a decision. Again, it doesn't.
yeah,
Alternatively, we'd have to find another money manager, right? Another asset management to move the funds.
Correct,
to
another
reduce it.
advisor, yeah, advisor team.
Yeah.
which. I think we're in a good place
Yeah.
with the funds. It's,
Yeah.
they're Vanguard market funds.
Right.
It's fairly standard, so. From an approval perspective though, do I need to sign that as well, Aaron?
Yeah, Andrew, you're gonna have to sign it, and Aaron's gonna have to sign it. I think we have co-signatures on something like that, correct?
Yeah, that's what, I'm pretty sure if it was, whether it was me and you or me and Aaron that signed original agreement.
As I can.
So,
But yeah, you
so
just
the
have
original,
to me as well.
so the original agreement was David and I, and then
That's
when
right.
you switched over, it was you and I. And then when Erin joined, I think I dropped and she took my name, or she took took my signature role, and I don't think that's changed. So I think like on, you know,
Interesting,
when
as
we
long as
can
you
do,
I could be wrong, they keep saying you need to sign, you need to.
Just say that our board chair also needs to sign.
Sure.
Would that be something that should be a motion and voted on?
Probably.
yeah, because we had a vote on it when we originally transferred everything into this current arrangement.
We did, yes.
So even though this is technically a name change, honestly, like if we were at a corporation, we'd have to, you know, we'd have to get a authorization or go through whatever approval process. I would think of it the same way.
I agree, we should. Let's,
I would go back to them and tell them, if we get that they're making a change, it has to be approved by our board. And so we need,
yeah,
here's the one thing that the terms that we're agreeing to, and it is a multi-signature initiative for us. And
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll turn that right around.
we'll add it to new business for next time.
Yeah.
So we won't be able to get it.
Yeah.
Just let them know it has to
We'll
be.
get it done
but
early.
They're working with nonprofits, they should understand.
I mean, again, this is we want it by January 31st.
Yeah.
We prefer earlier,
Yeah. Well,
we all know. It's not
The
gonna be
world of bureaucracy doesn't work that fast.
yeah, exactly. This is the first we're hearing about it. We have 3 weeks? Nah.
Well, in fairness, they gave it to me in December, but.
Yeah, it's their fault.
You didn't have a meeting.
Holiday. Yeah, we did it after the meeting, so. We have our meetings on our website. They can go look. Yeah, if you want to copy me on any of those emails too, Aaron.
Yeah, I'm just trying to all of you guys say that.
Okay, perfect.
I do not have anything else, assuming we're gonna cover the donation we received today under new business.
All right. Fantastic. All right, moving on to our monthly policy review. This month is the code of conduct. Everyone should have that as part of their.
Does anybody have the red line? There's a new version. Does everybody have the red line version? Okay.
Scott, do you want to speak to any of the changes?
So the beginning change is just the typical, the previous town attorney really wanted us to clarify that we were a department of the town, which is understandable. So again, what you'll see in most of our policy edits. What changed was the end of the policy talks about loss of library privileges. The way it was worded in the past made it seem as if it was limited to not being allowed in the library. But when we look at some of our process in-house, some of it is you could still use the library, you just can't use a study, or you can't borrow a museum pass. So this language kind of like clarifies that a little bit, just saying that, and also kind of gave a 3 strikes thing that a few people in my experience like to game. So in other words, don't do a little yell at me, I'm gonna make them yell at me again. So this really just, it's clear that if you're a nuisance, if you're violating the law or library policy, you may be asked to leave, you may be restricted from library services or the facilities in up to 1 year. Early training, and I believe it is in Connecticut as well as New York, is really, most lawyers will tell you, the longest you can't do lifetime bans, it has to be a year. So this would mean that, typically we'll ban somebody for, we'll tell them to leave for the day. Sometimes we'll ban somebody for a month, sometimes we'll do 3 months, sometimes we'll do 6 months. And again, if they have violated the law in any way, it's a year violation. Year loss of library privileges. I'll be honest, the only loss of library privileges that have happened here have actually been year long. The only time we've banned anyone has been for legal violations of the law, not our policy. But recently I just wrote a letter giving somebody a warning that they're close to losing their ability to use study rooms. So this speaks to a more of there's a cachet of library services out there. We may not tell you not to come in the building, but we may tell you you can't use this service or that service. It has not been reviewed by the town attorney yet. New attorney met with him. We kind of walked through the way we handle policies. He liked the fact that we've reviewed one a month. He actually, I do think that's a good practice. So I'm waiting for him. He sent me an email today. He's looking at it. I just got to give him a date when we need it back by. But it'll be interesting. It is a new attorney. The good news is he was on the RTM. He's familiar with the library. He's a library user. So therefore, he gets us and don't need to kind of do that 6 months to a year of rebuilding that understanding. But I'm interested to see what his take on this may be. We do have, at a national level case law that we can always fall back on if we get any pushback. You're a limited public forum. So that means we're allowed to create policies and we're allowed to keep people out of the building if they can't follow those policies.
Great. Yeah, so next month, let us know how the feedback is. And also just let us know how it is working with the new attorney. Because I knew Jim, obviously.
Yeah, like Jim.
Yeah, exactly. But obviously, things change. So yeah, do let us know, and I think as well, with regards to just the policy in general, as it perhaps get an idea from him if there are other changes to this, we need to potentially accelerate some of our review based on his opinion or whatever,
That makes sense.
Ideally, it's not going to be throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We'll just have these minor changes and continue to refine. Great. All right. So with that, we then move into new business. We have a few items as well as the two that we added at the beginning of the meeting. The first is the hiring of our website redevelopment firm, Sterling Brandworks. Obviously, Mary couldn't be here tonight. Jill, unfortunately, no longer with us. So Scott, you might just.
Having the consequence, the library will be closing in 10 minutes. Please check out all material now.
So the process was, even though we did not need to do it, we did a request for proposals. We received responses from 3 firms. The committee selected 2 firms to interview. And while it was close, we felt that Sterling had the most library experience and was the most comfortable working with the governing body and staff committees. So that's really where they shined, other than their work. That we did reach out to their references, and one reference, somebody they most recently worked with, was really said some very nice things and made us kind of excited to work with them. So, at this point, we'll take any questions. And then the next step after this, if the board decides to vote on it, is to have them draft a contract. And then that will need to be reviewed by the town attorney.
Great. No, personally, looking through their proposal, lots of various examples of different libraries that, was very in depth of the different things that they were going to bring to the table with this. Pricing wise, it looks quite reasonable. And from a timing perspective, it's good as well. So it seems like we can have something new by the summer, which would be fantastic.
It'd be great. It's a good time to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
You get a lot of traffic, really get the kinks
For the summer book reading,
Yeah.
for summer reading stuff, and so I think that would be wonderful. Question just logistically for you, Scott. I know we have staff team that is working on it. Mary obviously leading that team up. Do we have once we move forward? Who do we have on the staff side? What engagement do you need from the board?
So I think it would be wise for us to continue having a committee that has a board member on it. So I know it's hard, you're volunteering your time, but we may want to think about having a board member that's going to be engaged in this committee.
Yep.
We'll have a staff side committee that'll just be, Mary will probably, she'll be the lead. on that committee, and I'll be on that committee, but that'll be kind of a small committee that's gonna provide feedback as they make changes, as things go through. And what I will probably do is not just have a committee with a board member on it, probably be a 3-person committee, but continue to send emails and keep you all updated as the board meets.
Great. We can discuss outside, maybe the next meeting, who would want to be our point of contact for that. Obviously, we are down one member currently, so continue to, that's good to, any other questions with regards to Sterling proposal process? Peter, your hand up. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm fine.
All right, fantastic. Anyone else have anything to mention with regards to did everybody have a chance to look at the proposal? To put these things together, so I'm glad people do. It's always nice to be on the other side of it, though. All right, so with that, somebody want to make a motion with regards to our website redevelopment?
I will make a motion to
Second.
approve Hyde Sterling Brandworks to redevelop the Fairfield Public Library's website.
Second. Oh,
All in favor? Chris, we need a verbal.
Sorry, I approve, agree.
All right. So moved. All right. So once, Scott, once they've written the contract, please, have the town attorney review it. Keep us in the loop just if anything comes up with regards to that. And then, we'll make next steps off of that and get an update next month's, next month's meeting. All right. Our next item is regarding the executive slate. We have not had a chance to re-elect our executive slate. We've been working, what was it, outside of governance, I believe. Do we have to move for everyone? Make a motion or to elect or just opt in,
Yeah,
So
you
should nominate.
need to nominate, you can do each position. Nominate each position. You can do a vote where it's just a package vote.
We do a slate, we nominate for slates.
Yep. So, obviously, since we've, we last had a slate, we no longer have a secretary. Christina is no longer on the board. I've been working as acting secretary, which is fun. But I have spoken with Meg previously about coming on and acting as secretary for the moving forward and as part of the executive slate. So I guess I can't nominate myself for chair again. I'm willing to stay on as chair. Aaron, I think we talked about this, didn't we? You're willing to stay on as treasurer?
You didn't, but I am.
Okay. For some reason, I had it in my head that we had talked about this.
It was the dream you kept having, right?
Dream,
Nightmare.
nightmare, same difference. So, does Peter or Chris have to nominate?
I'll make a motion that Andrew, based on his 3.5-star rating as chair, be renominated.
Oh man, no one's gonna want to ride Uber with me.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the whole slate there, Peter? So Aaron for
Whole
treasurer and May for secretary?
Yes,
Fantastic.
with you at 3.5 stars, though. Let us get 4.
All right. Are there any other nominations for any of the seats that anyone would like to put in? no. All in favor for myself as chair, me as secretary, and Aaron as treasurer.
Does someone have to second that?
So it's just a nomination.
Okay, so then I just say
Hey,
motion.
Andrew, do you need me,
Yo.
I will second it if you need me to second.
Just pretend for a second.
Robert's rule, Scott is dying inside, but it's okay.
Yeah,
It's Robert Tisch.
yeah.
Bob's rules now. Casual.
Bob's big.
It's less formal, brother.
Hey, we could do
Okay.
Robert.
That's okay, it's
We
okay.
got one of you have a nomination, you have a second, right? So,
Yeah.
All right, we have a second. All right, let's vote again. Now we have we officially have a second. All in favor?
And you get Kristen.
Chris.
Chris?
I'm on. All in favor?
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
No, and my apologies.
No, don't. I like Bob's rules though.
I was really kind of there. Don't worry, it's fine. All right, next item is, and actually,
Do the check registry.
yeah. We have this in old business because this is from carryover from last month. This was a player between myself and Scott with the agenda. But we'll discuss the open seat in the in old business. So with this, we'll go to the actually let's talk disbursement first.
Disbursement.
So we got $22,000.
$2,000 with no specific directions around what it needs to be used for.
Okay.
Jan's question was where to deposit this. Chris, maybe you know this. I'm certainly not the Jennings. My first inclination is to deposit it in First County, the money market,
Mhm.
rather than, Memorial. I don't know if I have to go back to my black binder with all the instructions around the funding with me, and I can double check later on when I'm home. But there may be some restrictions around that account as well, the memorial account. So my inclination is to deposit at First County. Chris, I don't know if you feel any different from anything you know.
No, I mean, there is restrictions around one of them. I think it's Memorial, and I can't remember specifically what you can use it for, but it's in that binder
Yeah.
that you have.
At least for now.
Yeah, I mean, yes. It's
Yeah.
not like you're gonna go spend it tomorrow, so we could deposit it so that we don't fall back in yours.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly.
Tomorrow.
And then do we need to vote on anything?
Do you need to make a motion to deposit this?
Yeah.
First County?
Robert's rules. Do we need to make a motion to deposit?
No, because you're not, it's not really official business.
Okay,
You're just making sure,
Just clarification.
okay.
clarification.
Okay. Okay, great. Good stuff. All right, now the tech registry, which everyone should have in the packets. Scott, you wanted to speak to?
So one thing that was brought up when we were in our budget meeting, that, this, what's the word leaving me, this, not regime, this. Administration, thank you, Doug. This administration would really like us to do a budget. So that's something we'll be working on, and that's something I've wanted
Yeah.
for a while. So that's something we'll work on in the future, but one thing that this board needs to do is before we send out checks, there needs to be a review of the check registry before those checks are sent. And that's best practice, not only of government accounting, but also nonprofit accounting. So, every month you will just get a list of checks and what those checks were used for. There was a game at my last library where one person in a meeting would ask about some random check. It was like, they're fun at the meeting. You're more than welcome to do that. And, it's just so you see the money's going in and going out and what it's going to. especially right now that we don't have a set budget. I think it's kind of important. And one thing I think is really good is it'll be a record of how much funding the Friends provide us for programs, because the trustee account acts as a pass-through for when we're doing programming with Friends money. So you'll see Friends, and basically that's money we'll be getting from the Friends, but they set that at a certain stipend. So we pay the invoice, we get it done, we do the program, and then we send over the invoice to Danielle. She cuts us a check, and that money gets deposited back into the trustee account, which is a good thing. But I think it's important for you all to see how your money is being kind of used and reimbursed.
Good idea.
All physical checks that are like a check. So, there's one debit, okay.
So we do have a debit card that we use, but for the most part, it's how we capture.
Yeah, 'cause credit cards are never become an issue.
Yes.
I'll just say, even though these checks all are dated like tomorrow or last week, they're not all going to be mailed out tomorrow. Like programs that are happening later in the month will be held until after.
Do they happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, just to echo Scott's sentiment with regards to budget, I think, Aaron, you and I can talk with Scott, we should talk how we want to approach that moving forward. It was a whole, it was a pain to get our finances even remotely in order for doing the refresh, the furniture replacements. So that was anything we can do to improve upon that moving forward and assigning money towards things would be in general. So yeah, we'll find some time to get that going. Was hoping to get a jump on the robot book, but no, you didn't say it in here in the checks. I was hoping. No, I think this is good practice for us, and they say, dragging us kicking and screaming into, compliance.
Yes.
We appreciate that, Scott. So for this, just to be clear, we're making a motion for the checks. Is there any questions on any of the checks that are included on here?
So these are all the anticipated payments for the next month, is that right?
That we know of.
That we know, of course, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and I've told department heads that anything that I didn't receive by last Thursday would have to wait until the next month.
Got it, okay.
All right. Any other questions, Chris? Peter, any questions regarding the check
No,
registry?
no.
I'll put lines on it.
Good idea.
A little hard.
Or I'll bring a ruler and just do the,
Yeah.
go down line by line. The other thing, Scott, just thinking about it, just in terms of bucketing, how you guys are bucketing checks, just different budget buckets, make sure we're thinking about that moving forward. Yeah, so let's, just talk about that a little bit. All right. All right, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
It's on there.
Yes.
Free will.
I move to approve this process going forward, is that?
No, approve the check registry.
Oh, approve the check register.
Yes.
I have a second.
All right.
So
All
so
in
moved.
favor of check registry? Chris?
Chris.
Thought I heard it.
Chris?
Yes.
Peter Berber? All right. So moved. All right. So with that, we move now into old business. Last month, obviously, we had Jill submit her resignation from the board, so we have to find someone to fill her seat. I think we discussed this before, but it is for her term, the remainder of her term, so we'll only be through June of 2025. Will be the end of the term for this new trustee that we will bring in. So what I would like to do is move into executive session in order to discuss who, the profile of the candidates that we should be looking for. So I have a number of, we can talk a little bit more about it, but I have candidates that have come to me through the selectman's office. I know, that's why I'm asking to move into executive
No,
session.
I didn't use the motion. Very clear, my FOIA. That's yes.
Okay. So I so move that the library board of trustees enter into executive session to discuss matters regarding individual officers of the board. And a second,
I'll second that.
Peter? All in favor? All right. Peter, second. So with that, we move into executive session. At this point, we will stop recording, pause recording rather. All right, with that, we move out of executive session. With no more items on the agenda, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, Peter made the motion.
Oh,
Need a second?
I'll second.
All right, Aaron seconds. All in favor? All right. With that, the meeting is adjourned at 8:21 PM. Thank you, everyone. Have a
Thank you.
wonderful January, and we will talk Happy New Year's again.
Happy New Year.